Alright, photographers, I'm going to show you how to use Photoshop to do your multiplicity edit. What you're going to do is you've already taken your photos out with the tripod. You have a series of photos in a folder that you've imported to the computer, just like I have. I'm using some older photos from when my son was a lot younger than he is right now. So I'm going to go to File, Scripts, and I'm going to load files into Stack. Now you're probably familiar with this method of loading files from Float and other shooting challenges already. So I'm going to browse to find them. Right, here they are. They're already loaded up ready for this demo. So I've got a whole series of them here. I'm going to select them all and hit open. I'm going to attempt to automatically align the source images just in case the tripod moved just a little bit, and hit OK. Right, and you can see this is my son when he was a much tinier human than he is now, and it is in our living room. So I've got a series of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different layers of my son around the living room. And what I'm going to do is take all these layers, and you can add a layer mask to each of the layers except for the bottom one. We don't need one on the bottom. So the layer mask button or icon is this one right here. Okay, it's a little circle inside of a square rectangle there. Okay, so I'm going to go to my top layer, click the layer mask. Next layer, click the layer mask, and so on. Continue all the way down. So each layer, with the exception of the bottom one, you add a layer mask, just like that. Okay, and so now I've got these all laid out. I'm going to go back to my top layer and make my first layer mask active. And you can tell it's active by this white rectangle surrounding the white box there, that white layer mask. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go over to my paintbrush tool, which is already selected actually, and painting in with black. If it isn't black, you can click this black and white icon, and this kind of rotates back between it being white and black or black and white. And the brush I've got selected, you can see up here in my toolbar, is a fairly big brush with a 0 hardness. So it's nice and fuzzy on the edge. Okay. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to paint over on the layer mask in black over my son here to make him disappear. As simple as that. So I'm painting this area, which is erasing him essentially. Okay, so I'm erasing him, going through that layer, softening the edges. There we go. So he disappears, and you can see it appears there, and the layer mask says that black. And then when I'm done making him disappear, I'm going to hit Command and I, and that's going to invert the mask. And watch what happens. He reappears, and then the next person on the next layer down appears. Okay, and I'm just going to repeat the process. Now I'm going to go next layer down, click that layer mask, paint in black, make him disappear. When I'm done doing that, I'm going to Command I, and he appears. Next layer down, and repeat that process. So paint in black, make the figure disappear, erase him by painting him black into the layer mask. Command I to invert it back. Next layer down and repeat. So you just keep on doing this until all of your figures that you've got layered into different parts of the image are there. And so the only thing you got to pay attention to when I was taking these shots, all the versions of my son around the room are in different areas. So there's no overlapping. It gets a little tricky in terms of the layering mask if there's two overlapping figures. You just have to be more careful about where you paint that layer mask in if that's the case. There we go. I'm done that layer. Invert the mask. Oh, there's another one. So I'm going to activate the layer mask by clicking on the white box, painting so he disappears, erase him out of the image, and Command I again. And here we've got our last layer mask. I'm going to paint him out in black. just like so. And there we go. And then that last layer on the bottom there, that you can see that last figure there. Okay, so there you have it. Now, I'm almost done here, so the only thing I'm going to do is, when I attempted to automatically align the source images, you can see some dead pixels around the side, as looked like my tripod moved just a touch. So I'm going to bring my crop in just a little bit tighter. I want to keep my ratio, my original ratio, so I'm not messing with the print ratio there, and double click. And there we have it. I can save this as a PSD file to edit later. I can flatten the image, so I go into my layers panel and click flatten image, and that collapses all the layers back into it. And then I can save a copy. I can call this Multiplicity. And maximum JPEG. There you go. So that's how you do the edit. You're going to use layer masking and use that layer mask tool to erase out your figures and then make them reappear by inverting those masks. Give it a try.